Thank you for being here today. I'm here to talk to you about something that is near and dear to my heart. I want to talk to you and inform you on how to grow your own vegetable garden. First of all, how would you like to have your own personal supermarket outside your back door? It would have the choicest, freshest vegetables. It would only be things that you and your family like. It would be stocked, the things that you enjoy. It would be open 24/7, weekends and holidays. There would be no waiting in line and no money paid for the items at checkout. Well, that can happen. I'm here to talk to you about one of the best kept secrets, and that can aid you in keeping you healthy. Today, I'm going to give you information on how to grow your own vegetable garden. My grandparents taught me what I know about gardening. They encouraged me to grow my own vegetables. They lived healthy lives well into their 90s. They were handed down those skills by their parents and grandparents. Not only did they consume the chemical-free fresh vegetables, but the physical labor that was necessary to keep their gardens maintained also served as a daily workout for them. My grandmother often told me that she thought the preservatives in food are what make people sick, and she may have been onto something. But when you have your own garden, you're able to choose the fertilizers, the pesticides that are applied to your vegetables. In Derek Fell's book, I Will Make You a Gardening Wizard Overnight, and by the way, this is the gentleman that helped Michelle Obama and her children plan their garden at the White House. He has an article in there that's very interesting. It's where Russian scientists did a study on the longevity of villagers in the Caucasus Mountains in southern Russia. There were 5,000 individuals that were known to be over 100 years old. They discovered a distinct link between eating plenty of vegetables, moderate exercise, which they said also came from gardening and farming, and a pleasant disposition, which also came from cultivating the soil. The Russian scientists believe that a person can live to be 200 years of age, and the world record now is at 175. So among the people that they studied, the older people, the calorie intake of vegetable origin comprised of 70% of the people's diet. And, I look at my grandparents that lived to be in their 90s, and I kind of study, I didn't do a formal study, but I look back and I think, what did they do differently? Well, they did eat foods without preservatives. They did work in the garden. They kept their mind healthy, they kept their body healthy. They lived pure lives, but also they eat vegetables without preservatives, and these are some that come from my own garden. Nothing is in there except water, the vegetables, and maybe a little bit of salt. So I know what goes in those vegetables, just like my grandparents knew what went into their vegetables, and then also what they consumed. Not only learning from them, has been good, but it also has been an excellent way to spend quality time with them. I can still, when I'm in my garden today, I can still recall my grandmother's voice instructing me when I'm doing certain things. I can just still remember her voice. So if you have someone, an older person in your family or friend, and they want to teach you, or vice versa, if you know some skills that you would like to pass on, that's just a good way to keep that memory alive in your heart. Here's a quote that I borrowed from a web article, Benefits of Growing Your Own Vegetables, Fruits and Vegetables, that states, fruits and vegetables from your own garden are higher in nutrients than the ones that have traveled several thousand miles to get to your grocery store. Never thought about vegetables traveling thousands of miles, but therefore if you grow them yourself, they're going to be healthier for you because they're fresher, and then also you have decided what goes into your garden. The reason I'm here today is the healthy eating of freshly grown vegetables along with the physical exercise of caring for a garden can bring many positive benefits to you and your family, and I want to convey that to you today. First, I'm going to describe how to choose and prepare a spot for your home garden. Secondly, I will discuss the importance of planning out your garden. And then thirdly, I will talk about the necessary maintenance or the routine that you'll need for your garden. First of all, let's talk about choosing and preparing the site for your vegetable garden. It needs to be an area large enough to accommodate the plants and vegetables that you have chosen. The spot should receive a lot of sunlight, and it should drain properly. If you have a lot of wildlife near, like we do, you may want to consider putting a fence around it. By planting in advance, also, you can start adding organic matter to the soil many months ahead of the planting time, and this will add natural nutrients to your soil. You will need a small tractor or tiller to break up the soil, and I wouldn't necessarily go out and purchase that. I wouldn't make that investment until you're sure that's what you're going to do, but you can rent those items or you can borrow. It is very helpful, though, to learn from an experienced operator. You don't want to get out there without knowing how to operate the machinery. A soil test can be very helpful in determining what additives that your soil may need. From Reader's Digest Vegetable Gardening, there's a clear statement in there that they give that mentions understanding how soil provides for plants will help you to decide what you need to do, what you can add to your soil to improve it. Now, this is something we do. It's very inexpensive. We send them to Auburn, and you can get a good War Eagle here, Leonard. That'd be all right. And they will tell you, if you send them a soil sample from different areas in your garden, you write down the vegetables that you want to grow, and then they will send you a printout via email or mail telling you what you need to add to the soil to make it productive. And it's very helpful, saves you money and time. Adding mulch and earthworms can help in the aeration of your soil. Dried manure is also a good organic way to help build your soil. Now that we have discussed the site, we need to talk about planting your garden and how that is best done on paper first. You don't want to just get out there not knowing what you're going to do. You need a plan. You need to start small and grow as your knowledge does. If you plant your garden too large, you're going to become overwhelmed and you're going to want to give up easily. You need to research what grows well in your area and then also talk to other home gardeners. Don't be afraid to ask for their assistance. You should choose seeds and plants that are hardy. Many of your seeds you can get at your local co-op. You can order them online. These are just some examples of the seeds that you can purchase. But you will need to see what grows hardy for your planting zone. You can, like I said, purchase those, but then after you've, I think I brought some. Yes. All right. After you've had your successful crop, you can start saving your seed, which will save you money. That's just a dry pot of okra. You open it up, it's full of seeds. Okay, when you're purchasing the plants, you want to make sure that you choose healthy, green, disease-free. You don't want the ones that are yellowing or the leaves are starting to fall off. Those are not healthy to begin with, so you're not going to have as much luck with those. You will need to design where your plants will go and if supports will be needed. Tomatoes, they need to be supported. They're going to have vegetables. They're going to start weighing down the plant. So you want to support those well in advance while the plant's still small. Cages or similar supports are good. Running green beans need to be supported on teepees or wire trellises. Cucumbers and melons, you can let them go and they'll take up a large area. They'll grow on the ground, or you can train them to grow vertically with the right supports. You need to label your rows. If you're like me and I've been gardening a while, this seed, when I open it up, I don't know what it is. So you need to label your rows so as your vegetables come up, you're going to know what you've planted there. Okay, now that we have established the importance of your site preparation and planning of the garden, we need to discuss the upkeep or maintenance of your garden. Mulching is a good thing to do around your plants. It's going to help you prevent weeds and it's going to help maintain moisture. Some of your plants are going to need more water than others and some are just more drought tolerant. Even with mulching though, you're still going to need to pull some weeds. That's just not going to take it all out, but it does help. Gloves, much like these that I have used a lot, a hoe, and then my little sun hat. These are just good items to have in your garden. They protect you, but also they're just good to have, protect your hands. Also, I use these little mudders. I think they're cute, but they also keep mud from getting in your shoes. Okay, you will need to inspect your plants for pests. You will need to decide whether you're going to use organic or manufactured pesticides. It's also best to treat your pests before and during blooming because I have found out that eggs are laid in the blooms and you want to prevent those from hatching if possible. You will want to inspect your garden often to stay ahead of the pests. You will need to provide support for your plants. It is best to have those supports in place like we talked about earlier, and you want to do it before your plant is mature. Soft ties are helpful in keeping the plants in place and training them to grow in the direction that you want them to. They also aid your plant because the weight of the vegetables are going to weigh the limbs down, so you need something to support that up. Well, we have discussed the importance of choosing a sunny, well-draining site for your garden. We have talked about the planting or placement of your plants along with the needed supports. And then lastly, we covered routine maintenance. Hopefully, I have given you enough information today about growing vegetables that will encourage you to start your own vegetable garden and maybe even make it a family affair. Perhaps one day that it will turn into your own private supermarket outside your back door.